Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the live lecture of functional analysis. In the last lecture, we have completed this properties of the inner product spaces. Okay, the properties of the inner product spaces. The first one is actually linearity with respect to that is the linear combination we have written as alpha x plus beta y in the definition itself. Right now, that is it is called as linearity in first variable where it is in the addition format. The same is true for the subtraction format. This we have proved. Also, we have proved the conjugate linearity in second variable, which is for addition and subtraction as well. And then in the inner product, if any one of the variable, either you consider first variable or second variable, if one of the variable is 0, the inner product is going to be 0. Also, we have seen that example that L2N is a complex inner product space. How the product is defined? Xi yi bar is the product defined. No, if I change this product to xi yi, what kind of product it will be instead of xi yi bar? Say if I write this as xi yi only, what this product will be? Are you familiar with this product? Xi yi, summation xi yi.
Dot product.
Yes, it will be a dot product. That is, dot product is no doubt an inner product, and here in this example we have shown that this is also an inner product by verifying those four properties of the inner product spaces. Now in today's lecture we were moving ahead towards showing that every inner product induces a norm. That is, we are going to show that every inner product induces the norm. How it is going to induce the norm? Because we have seen the relation between the inner product and norm as inner product xx we have written as norm square of x, no, which is very similar to this concept. Inner product x dot x is mod of x bracket square. This dot product is generalized to inner product, modulus is generalized to norm. Therefore, this relation is there. Therefore, norm x I can define as under root xx inner product under root xx, right now? Is it okay? Now, by using this norm, one has to show that whatever the norm we were considering, this is going to be a normed linear space. That is, our job is to show that every inner product space is a normed linear space. If I show this every inner product space is a normed linear space, then what will be a relation between normed linear space and inner product space? What do you think? Every inner product is normed linear space, I am saying. So which one will be bigger? Whether normed linear space is bigger or inner product space is bigger?
Norm linear space is big.
Norm linear space is bigger and inner product space will be a smaller one, right? Every inner product is norm linear space. This is what we wanted to show. In order to show this, we have to verify all the four properties for this norm. Okay, and to verify these properties, we need a famous inequality given by a mathematician, Hermann Schwarz. Mathematician Hermann Schwarz, Schwarz. He was a German mathematician, and the life tenure is 25 January 1843 to 30 November 1921. He has given one of the famous statement called as Schwarz inequality, which is essential for us for proving many of the theorems. Okay, so let us try to understand what is the inequality given by this mathematician. The statement says that if x and y are any two vectors, if x, y are any two vectors in an inner product space, then prove that. What it is asked us to prove? Modulus inner product of x with y is less than or equals to norm x into norm of y. In general, what we were writing regarding modulus? What we were writing for modulus? Mod of x plus y, na? Is less than or equals to? No, that is for addition. Sorry. What for multiplication we were writing? Dot x dot y. Yes? Mod of x dot y is?
Mod x into mod y.
This is mod x into mod y. But if we just go with the same, In case of inner product, this gives you less equal relation, and we will check also when this gives you equality. Before that, let us try to go for the proof of this one. The proof of this inequality we were giving in two cases only, y equal to 0 and y not equals to 0. Now one may have a question, why only two cases? Because as of we were having two variables, when we'll have four cases, no? What four cases we will have? x0, y0, x non-zero, y0, x0, y non-zero, and x non-zero, y non-zero. This should be actually four cases. But out of this, we were going to discuss the possibilities for two cases, y equal to 0, y not equals to 0, or one may discuss for x equal to 0 and x not equals to 0. Why is the question actually? Look at the possibility. If I select the value of y equals to 0, what are the possibilities for x we have? Either 0 or non-zero. But as of the property of the inner product we have seen, inner product x with 0 or 0 with x is always 0. That is, if any one of the variable is 0 in the inner product space, the inner product is going to give you a 0 value. Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we look at these three possibilities, 1, 2 and 3, what are the possibilities we have in the first three cases? At least one of the variable is 0, no? Here both are 0, here y is 0, here x is 0. If you consider any of the three possibilities, this inner product is going to give you a 0 value. And what about NOR? NOR we know always greater or equal by 0, no? But anyhow, this relation is going to be satisfied with the three possibilities. But still we were going to prove for y equals to 0 and y not equals to 0. Specifically, we were proving for this fourth only. Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But here you will see the two cases, one variable 0, y is non-zero, right? Therefore here I will write case 1. If y equals to 0. What will happen if y is equals to 0? Consider inner product of x with y, which is actually inner product of x with 0, right now. What is the inner product of x with 0 according to the previous property? This is 0.
0.
Right. What about the modulus then?
0.
This is also 0. And what about the value? Norm x plus norm x into norm y for y equals to 0?
0.
This is 0. Therefore, this left hand side is equals to right hand side. Therefore, we can write inner product, modulus inner product xy is equality holds, no? Therefore, may I say this is equality norm x into norm y. For which case? Y equals to 0. Right now? Therefore, the result is true in this case. Therefore, let me go for the second case of y not equals to 0. Right. Now, to show the result is true for y not equals to 0, that is modulus of inner product xy is less equal by norm x plus norm y. What we will start with? We will start with the relation between norm and inner product, which will help us to prove the required result. For this, I will start with any scalar, say lambda, or any scalar lambda in C we have. What we have? Suppose we have two vectors x, y in the corresponding space. Na? Therefore, what about the vector x minus lambda y? May I say it will be in the same inner product?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about its norm value? Non-negative. Right now? Now, I want to establish the relation between the two norm and inner product. Therefore, here I will write norm square of x minus lambda y is inner product of x minus lambda y with inner product of x minus lambda y. Which concept we have used? Inner product x is norm square of x, right now? Now this inner product is now greater or equal by 0. Now we will just solve this inner product to write that inner product x modulus inner product xy is less equal by norm x plus norm y. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, now I will start by considering this inner product x minus lambda y, x minus lambda y, and we know already this is non-negative, right? let us use the previous property just to separate this inner product over this linear combination. First, I will use linearity in first variable. What the linearity in first variable tells us? You have to keep your second variable as it is and you have to separate over the first variable, right? That what should be my first term? X with
minus lambda y.
Yes, lambda y, and then minus lambda inner product y with
X minus lambda
X
y.
minus lambda.
Yes, good. This is linearity in first variable, right? Linearity in first variable. Now we will use the linearity in the second variable. But this is not actually linearity. What it is? This is conjugate linearity, no? Let us recall.
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever you wanted to separate this linear combination in the second variable, it can be written like a linearity, but the scalar should be with the conjugate. Therefore, this is called as conjugate linearity. Therefore, here now I am ready to use the conjugate linearity, right? Now the conjugate linearity, for the first inner product I will use the conjugate linearity. Now what is the scalar with x? This is 1, no? 1 dot x. Therefore, if I take this out with conjugate, there is no effect, right? What is my first term? Inner product x with x. What shall I write? 1 bar here? 1 bar. What should be my next term?
Minus lambda bar.
Minus lambda bar, inner product x with
Y.
Y.
y. Good. Minus lambda I will keep as it is. Now we will use conjugate linearity in the second variable for the second inner product. What is my first inner product? Inner product y with x. 1 bar you can write here. Okay. Then again minus lambda bar inner product y with y. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And the reason is this is conjugate linearity in second variable. Okay. Now let us proceed. Now 1 bar is 1, therefore whether you write it or not, we will multiply by with this lambda. Therefore this is inner product xx minus lambda bar inner product xy minus lambda inner product yx and plus minus of minus, this is plus lambda bar inner product y with y. Now I'll just introduce norm in this. Can I write it as norm square? Right now? Because we wanted to show the result which involves norm. Here can I write this as more lambda square?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what we have proved, right? Therefore we know already this is non-negative, na? Therefore I'll call this as by 1. This inner product x with lambda y, my x minus lambda y with x minus lambda y is non-negative. Therefore may I write this equation thus. May I write this equation norm square x minus lambda bar inner product x with y minus lambda inner product y with x added with mod lambda square into norm square of y. This is non-negative, right now? From 1 I can write it. From 1 this quantity is non-negative. Now we want to put the specific value of the scalar lambda so as to our result is going to hold. Therefore what we will do, we will choose lambda. We will choose lambda as lambda equals to inner product xy with norm square of y. We have already y not equals to 0, na? Therefore this denominator is non-zero. Correct, no? Now why I have selected the value like this? Whether this is a scalar, lambda whatever we have selected.
Yes, ma'am.
Because inner product is a scalar valued function, right? No? Okay. Therefore let me just put the value in the above equation. What will be lambda bar then? This is bar upon into inner product xy as it is minus inner product xy upon plus, now what is lambda square? Mod lambda square, is it in the modulus inner product xy square upon norm y raised to 4, shall I write?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Into norm square of y, and everything is non-negative. Can anyone tell me this value?
Inner product y with x.
That is true. But actually we wanted everything in terms of inner product x with y, no? So for this also we will try to convert in terms of inner product x with y. With bar, right? We know the property of the modulus. This is z into z bar, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, this is a scalar complex number I had, sorry. This is a complex number I have, inner product xy. Xy with its conjugate. Therefore, it is of the type z z bar, no? Therefore, can I write this as mod z square?
Yes, ma'am.
This is mod z square. Here also, if I write in terms of conjugate, this will be inner product xy with its conjugate, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And here 1 norm square y will get cancelled and v remains with 1 norm square only, which is greater or equal by 0. Look at this result. These two are going to cancel one another. And what v remains with? Now let us multiply by, let us shift this on the right, this term on the right, and take a multiplication. And taking, if I flip the sides, okay, taking a square root, okay, this is what we have proved. Okay, in the proof you have to remember only is you have to select the value of lambda in order to introduce modulus of this inner product x with y, right? Any difficulty?
No, ma'am.
Then this quartz inequality will hold as an equality if and only both the vectors are linearly dependent. Equality holds if and only x and y are dependent. Dependent means what? Scalar multiples of one another, right? Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
I think my voice is troubling. Give ka?
Yes, ma'am.
Please bear with me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Give me a minute. We'll go for the next theorem. In this theorem, we were going to show that every inner product is a normed linear space. Okay. In order to show it is a non-linear space, what we have to do? We have to define one function norm, and we have to verify that it satisfies all the four conditions of norm. Okay. If capital X is an inner product space, then we prove that norm X equals to inner product xx raised to half is a norm on X. Okay, if I wanted to show it's a norm on X, what one has to do? Yes?
Norm defined should satisfy that four conditions.
Very, very good. Okay. Here, instead of taking norm X is xx raised to half, may I say it will be equivalent for me to write norm square X is inner product xx. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now we will show it satisfy the four conditions. We show that this norm satisfies the conditions of norm. First, what I should prove in the first? Norm X is
Non-negative.
okay. What we know actually, norm X is inner product xx raised to half. Right now, but what you know regarding the inner product xx? This is non-negative.
Non-negative.
What about the square root then?
Non-negative.
Sure. Square root of a non-negative term. Is it non-negative always?
Always not, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is square root of 4?
Ma'am, but we are defining for norm here, na?
Yes. Though it takes both the possibilities, as of we were defining this as a norm, we were avoiding the negative case, we were selecting the non-negative value only. Is that okay? Because here we have written del T. Second condition. Okay, to prove this second condition of norm definition, we can use the second condition of inner product, no? What is the second condition of inner product?
Inner product x with x equal to 0 implies x equal to
What is inner product xx is giving us?
norm x.
Norm square x actually. And hence I can write again as norm x equals to 0 if and only by using the conditions of inner product we were proving the conditions of norm. Right? Third. Consider. Instead of considering norm, I consider norm square. Because if I consider norm x, we have to take under root. Okay. So what is norm square of x plus y?
Inner product of x plus y with x plus y.
Let us use linearity in first variable. Okay. Now let us use conjugate linearity in the second variable, but the scalars are 1, therefore no need to write the conjugate of those real scalars, right? Can I write directly? Inner product xx added with inner product x with y, added with inner product y with x, y with y. May I write this as in conjugate of inner product of xy?
Yes.
This I will write as norm square. Okay, now this middle term is of the type z plus z bar, no? And we know a complex number with its conjugate. What is the addition complex number with its conjugate? Z plus z bar.
It's 2 times real part of it.
Yes, this is 2 times real part of inner product xy, right now? You can check. If I write z as x plus iy, z bar as x minus iy, then z plus z bar is 2 times 6, right? But this is 2 times real part of it. Now what is the left hand side? But now anyhow on the right we want a perfect square of norm x and norm y. Right now? In the middle on the right we want perfect square of norm x and norm y. For that I want the middle as 2 times norm x norm y. Okay. For this we will use one more property. This 2 times real part of the complex number is always less equal by. This is always less equal by 2 times mod of z bar or mod of z.
Yes, ma'am.
So let us make use of this also. Therefore equality will becomes now less equal. This 2 times real part we were writing less by 2 times modulus of that complex number, right now? Plus norm square 1. But by Squart's inequality what we have proved just now, this is less equal by norm x into norm of y. By Squart's inequality. Okay, what is the right hand side then? Perfect square of?
Norm y by x square.
Taking square root on both the sides. Third step verified, right? Now fourth one. What to prove in the fourth? Consider norm square of alpha x. What this norm square of alpha x is? Inner product of alpha x with alpha x. Alpha be any scalar, no? Belongs to C, I will write. Yes, linearity in first variable will give me alpha times inner product x with alpha x. Let us write conjugate linearity. What we will have?
Alpha bar.
And we remains with inner product x with x. And this is mod alpha square. In this I can write norm square of x. Taking square root, we will get the required result. What we have proved, every inner product induces the norm. Thus, norm defines a norm on x. Right now, what we have seen with this, that every inner product induces the norm, and hence every inner product space is the norm, the linear space. Okay. We will stop for today. Actually, I wanted to go for that parallelogram law. Just recall what is the parallelogram law we have studied in our school level. We will just try to verify that parallelogram law in the next lecture. Okay. Let me stop for today. Thank you.